Hello and welcome everyone, I am Madals and welcome to game 1 of this best of 3. It's from the Go for SC2 Cup and it is between NrSRomson, the red Protoss player in the top position, who's up against GLSnute, the blue Zerg player in the left position. The map Metropolis, and well, it should be a pretty good game. They are in the close by air positions. Be interesting to see if that affects anything. Obviously, lots of dead space behind the bases as well. So that potentially opens up airplay, drop play, etc. So we'll be interested to see if any of that goes down. Meanwhile, definite forge fast expansion map because hey, these rocks are fantastic because you can, should you want to, completely wall off and be like, I'll take the rocks down when I move out of my base and you ain't sending any Zerglings in my home. That's kind of good news. Now, obviously, Snute, he's gonna most likely go 14-15 pull, quick expansion, third base at 4 to 5 minutes. That's normally what we see people do, and it works well, so why not do it? In terms of any predictions on who's gonna win, generally speaking, I'd probably side with Snute for this game and the whole series, purely because Romson, I don't think is quite at the same level as Snute, in my opinion, but I'm always happy to be proved wrong, and well, we'll wait and see exactly what happens. Now, while we are waiting to see what these two are going to throw down, let me just say, please, 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 if you like my videos, like them, subscribe, and leave a cool comment. The reason you should subscribe, new games up daily, but the reason you should like them and leave a cool comment is, well, liking them actually means more people see them and they rate higher, so it's not just me wanting, like, a massive ego boost or anything, it just helps people, more people see my games, and that would just be absolutely awesome because I love StarCraft, you love StarCraft, and we want everyone to love StarCraft, so that would be sweet. And leave a comment because I like hearing from you guys. Let me know what you think of my casting, what do you think of the players, the game, anything like that. Even just leave a cool comment like this Overlord Scout, Imber, like he's gonna see that it was a Nexus first, even something like that. Just let me know, and then I try and answer if anyone's got any questions or anything like that. So that would just be sweet as. So yeah, quick shout out to do those things. Anyway, in regard to the game, obviously it was a Nexus first from Romson. It's fairly okay to do. He knows he's in close positions now from seeing this Overlord. If he saw anything that really panicked him, he could always just lob down some more stuff here and basically just do a full wall off and he'd be pretty safe. And to be honest, he shouldn't be too worried. He's getting the gateway down now, and all in all, he should be pretty much fine in my opinion. So that is all good. Meanwhile, Snute obviously getting up his natural. He's got his spawning pool out, no gas yet, because you don't get them when you're trying to take this third base relatively quickly. The only downside of this base for Snute is these rocks are a bit of a pain. It just means you've got to defend in this area, because if the Protoss army were to get here, you can run into some problems, purely based on the fact that force fields could come down there and then you've definitely lost this third, which obviously is a real main point of all ZvPs, is the Protoss player wants to knock out the third base usually, because if you do manage to do that, you're on equal bases, which is just great news for you. Anyway, this Overlord seeing the 2 gas timing, that's really the critical reason for scouting anything, is to work out what the gas timings are. The cannon up now, so essentially Romson really safe. This probe is going to do something, going to get the Cybercore, so that's all good, and well, all in all, we're looking to be settling into a pretty standard game right now. So, again, have a little sip of your drink. I'm sure it will be good, of course. Best of 3, so we've got at least one more game after this. These Zerglings just going to come and poke and prod, have a little look. Hey, what's out, what's there? Interesting, you're going to see there's no Zealot, and that is really the only bit of scouting information that Snute can take from this. And the lack of a Zealot just means that your opponent is going really focused on their economy, because without the Zealot you get 100 more minerals. Obviously it means you start your Stalker slightly sooner, and as we've got there, the Stalker coming out first, so that's not really that interesting. These Zerglings can run in anyway because there's only 2 of them. The only reason skipping the Zealot could be bad times is if your opponent went for say like 10-12 Zerglings and ran them all in, and then you might be in a bit of a pickle, but other than that, it's all fine. So here we got the third base up and running, 3 queens injecting, and while the worker count is equal at the moment, Snoop is going to start steaming ahead, literally like a madman, because he can. Stargate coming out, so airplay is going to be utilised here. Almost certainly going to be Phoenix, because why not? But Snoop, he's got a lot of Overlords here, so if nothing else, 3 Overlords are probably going to be forfeit. And that is actually quite a few Overlords, because it's 300 minerals, 3 lava, definite supply block. You very rarely see a player get 3 Overlords above their supply cap at this stage of the game. So as a result, that's a bit of a problem. Snoop getting up his 3 gas, not the 4th gas yet, and he's at quite high supply to be getting those gas as well. So really focusing on getting as many minerals as possible, really droning up this Stalker, doing a little bit of aggression, going head to head with the Queen. So gonna have to pull back. One Stalker's not gonna have fun times against this Overlord. May take a couple of shots, but it's gonna go over the high ground, so doesn't really matter. These 3 Overlords all positioning themselves quite nice. We do have the first Phoenix on the way out, so of course that's just gonna go and start killing stuff, which is always fun. We even got 4th Overlord there as well, slightly exposed. So we'll wait and see precisely what happens, but we've got the +1 coming in from behind this. Nothing else really being shown here by Romson rather at the moment. He's getting up another pylon, making that small little wall off, getting his 2nd Phoenix out now. Meanwhile, the Stalker being held at the watchtower. We've got droning going on by Snoot. He's getting 7 drones at a time. That's all good. His Evo chamber on its way down. He's also got a Roach Warren somewhere. Where's that? There we go. The Roach Warren hiding under the production tab. What are you doing there? This is not a game of hide and seek. The Twilight Council now following on, as well as a couple more gateways. So all in all, this is fairly standard builds, to be honest. The Twilight Council, slightly unusual. Usually you'd expect to see that perhaps being a robo, just so you've got the observer out. So obviously the Twilight Council means you get blink out a bit earlier, getting some additional gateways. Also got the option for going into High Templar or Dark Templar, which are both great options as well. But obviously with the Phoenix slowly amassing in number, these Overlords are going to be in trouble. The only downside to waiting for so long, it'll probably be the 4th Phoenix is be the point that Romson will go. That's usually the point you go and engage, because that's when you can take out a Queen quite comfortably with a lift. A good number of Zerglings are on the field though. Zergling speed nearly done. We've got the road speed coming down as well. Checking the watchtowers. Obviously this is really gearing up to be a big Roachling push. That is all it's ever going to be. We've got the +1 Carapace coming down as well. We'll probably time in with that. These Phoenix coming straight towards the main base though, and apparently ignoring most of those Overlords there. Not even picking that one off. The Queen gets lifted straight away. Spore Crawlers instantly on their way down. 5 straight there for Snoot. So these Phoenix are going to try and pick off a couple of drones most likely, and that's all well and good, because once they've done that they can then go and start dealing with the Overlords. But got to be careful of all of the Spore Crawlers, and that's really going to be the end of their party, and they're going to just have to start trying to deal with Overlords to get more of their money's worth. 5 Phoenix are going to be able to pick off Overlords relatively quickly, but they do need to be pretty aggressive in terms of dealing with all of this, because otherwise they can start running into some problems. But this is a big army composition here from Snoot, and Romson, well, 30 supply behind when you round up, and that is a big amount. A good force field goes down there though, traps a couple of Zerglings. The Forge taking huge amounts of damage though. That is a problem in itself, and well, as you can see, just pulling back. These Phoenix have got to try and do something nice, because otherwise they're going to run into some problems. I'm amazed they haven't been killing these Overlords, to be honest. That is just something you can't afford not to do. A couple of Roaches just getting picked up and taken down, because why not? Meanwhile, we've got a big move out here now from Romson with a fair number of units. The Hydra Den on its way out for Snoot, and if that finishes up, that's really probably going to be game, because at the end of it, ultimately Hydras do incredibly well against gateway units and incredibly well against air units. The only thing they're weak against is High Templar with Storm and also Colossus. So having neither of those, Romson doesn't really have to worry too much. Blink is done, of course, so we're going to see some good Blink Stalker play most likely. These Spore Crawlers are doing good damage though. So many Spore Crawlers out right now. Snoop, he's not in a big rush to do anything. He's got a good army supply lead. He's getting out those Hydras. He wants to really delay until he can get those Hydras, because that's when he's really going to start being able to crush this force. So to be honest, Romson realizes that, and he doesn't know obviously that the Hydra Den is out, but he knows that he's been scouted and what's coming. He knows he's got to go for a nice little timing push. So that is really his thought process. He's going in as best he can, but here comes Snoot with a good positioning, and a lot of those units are not getting trapped by those force fields, which is a bit of a problem for him. Romson's army taking so much damage right now. The Hydras are starting to pick off Phoenix as well, which didn't do enough damage in my opinion. And well, as you can see, the Roaches just slowly going to town. They do have the +1 Carapace against the +1 weapons of the Protoss army, but of course the Hydras in the mix as well. They are just doing so much damage against these Stalkers. The Roaches relentlessly pushing forward, and as you can see, Snoot is doing so much damage. Romson, well, he's down to 70 supply, still falling, down to 60, and there's the GG, and game 1 goes to Snoot. Those Phoenix just really didn't do enough damage, but anyway, that was game 1. Like, subscribe, leave a comment, and I'll catch you at game 2 any second.